change and decay are just a natural part of life. The other day we were taking the trash out and we opened our back door and it fell off its hinges. And immediately we boarded it up so nothing could get through. The past few weeks we've walked around or driven around the block to put trash in our trash cans. So that's how we can handle the changes and decays. We can either pretend that nothing's wrong and go out of our way to avoid the reality, or we can address it. And of course, when we address it, that may not mean that it's as good as new. It might just mean that it's different. But address it we must. We've got to take care of these daily things so that our life doesn't become chaos. So that's what we're going to do. Okay, it looks like the 1x1 that the top of the fence was, that the top of the fence was hinge was put into, which was a bad idea at the time, has just split. And so what needs to happen now is I need to get some longer lag screws and go in deeper to the 4x4 that's actually there, and then do a little bit of repair down below on the hinges. This doesn't look like it's going to be that difficult. And if I wouldn't have come up here to check it out, I wouldn't have known that. In my mind, I was going to have to build a new door and a new gate door, maybe even repair the entire fence, or at least this part of the fence. Wow, I'm lucky. Now, one of the things that I also realized when I was inspecting this door was that we didn't use lag screws initially. Instead, we just used common wood screws that really weren't meant to hold a hinge in place. So that mistake that was done 15 years ago, maybe 10 years ago, came back to haunt us. So what I'm learning from this is I need to do the job right the first time. And when a problem arises, I need to address it, not just pretend it doesn't exist. I want to share with you another example of what happens when there's a problem and it doesn't get addressed for a really long time. This is a cairn. It comes from the Scottish tradition where family and friends of loved ones would stack stones as a way of memorializing or remembering a loved one who is no longer with them. About a year ago, Tony and I began stacking these stones as a memory to our dear late friend Lloyd Lewis. And almost immediately after we did that, the stones would fall over. They would just crumble to the ground. Now, there is a custom that when stones fall, it's the loved one actually trying to remind you to think about them. But this was happening every day. I would come by, the stones would be down, I would stack them back up, and the next day I would come out and do the exact same thing. Not addressing the problem will drive you mad. And that was what was happening here. I blamed it on the weather. I blamed it on the cats. But the reality was that wasn't the case. And last week I took time to really look at it. And what I realized was there was a stone right here, this stone, which is a beautiful stone, nice and flat on one side here, but on this side, rounded. And of course, when that stone was stacked here, it made everything unbalanced. And so, wind, cat, whatever, would just fall over. So, I looked around for a stone and found a very flat, beautiful stone and put this flat, beautiful stone right here. And, you know, they haven't fallen. And while I like being reminded of Lloyd, I don't want to pick up his stones every day. And so now when I come around the path, I see this stack and it reminds me of him. Uh, but I have a little bit less work to do. Okay, before I go today, I just wanted to say that repairs, restoration, it doesn't happen all at once. Uh, this door here we installed about a year ago, and it doesn't close right. Uh, it did when we put it in, but it's warped, and so now it won't close, which means that the whole purpose of a screen door to keep bugs and insects out, well, even cats could get in. So I'm going to have to fix this. But here is the important thing to know. We can't fix everything in our lives, in our homes, in our gardens in one day. We have to be wise enough to know what things we can do now and what things we're going to have to wait for another day to do. This is one of these things I'm going to have to wait for another day to do. Thanks for stopping by. I hope you have a wonderful day, and we will look forward to seeing you back here the next time at Short Meadow.